Ready.
Alright, recording in 3, 2, 1.
Yo, what's up? Ninyo Diha, it's your boy Joe Boy, aka Cookies, back again with another episode of A Life of a Bi podcast where we chop it up. We have amazing conversations with brave or bold and authentic individuals. Bye, gani. So, if you guys are listening in Spotify, do me a favor and click the review star. I'd like to see how many 5 stars I got. So far, I got 11 or 12. So, the more stars, the more views the podcast is or listens on Spotify, the better. And if you are listening on YouTube, go ahead and click the subscribe button, notification bell. Go ahead and comment there on YouTube. And this is going to be an English episode. So if I'm pretty sure you guys already went to your high school, elementary. Hopefully you didn't skip class on English. So I'm pretty like y'all are smart. So you guys understand. You girls and guys understand what we're gonna talk about. And if not, just go ahead and comment. And I'm just gonna go and check the comments there, and I help you all out. But anyway. We got here a very special guest in the building. We've known each other for like what? I'd say 2 years.
Yeah.
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 From a common friend, and yeah, and out of the blue, you. I think it was like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
You DM'd me on Instagram and you were like, "Yo, it's time." What time? what time is it? You know what I'm saying? And you were like, "It's time for me to bring you to Hong Kong." And now we're here. We're here in beautiful Hong Kong, thanks to this gentleman right here.
Man.
And yeah, without further ado, we got Mr. The Nick Cage in the building.
What's good? What's good? What's good?
Man, first of all, man, I just want to show you how grateful we are that you took a risk, you took a chance to bring us here and show us love and show us how RTN is, Hard Vision Media is. We're gonna talk about that in a few, and just how amazing of a individual and how hardworking you are. Pulling all this event together, and now we're here barbecuing some steak, you know what I'm saying, on a Sunday here at Nook's Bar.
Smashing some steak, man.
Yeah.
Some delicious dishes. But man, thank you. You know what I'm saying? I'm still feel awkward with like compliments and shit like that. I'm used to people like, you're an asshole, this motherfucker. And, oh, he did, it's so good to, hear that, man. But first of all, what I'm saying? Let's say, yeah, for sure. Like, this ain't no fake love. And it's not really like 2 months out the blue. Like, we put this in motion because the friend that we met through.
Oh, yeah. We could talk about that guy.
Yeah,
we got a bleeper here, you know what I'm saying? Like, hold up. We can't talk about the friend though, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah.
We will say that because of that acquaintance that's that random happening. We wanted to do this then with a different crew and people that should have been involved, and it rolled out and came out to how it is. I'm just like relieved. Like, today's the last day, and Nook, they opened up their doors. Prim made it happen. And it's like we stuck to one of the things I said. It doesn't matter if it's 1, 5, or 45. We always live, and Hong Kong turned up for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Hong Kong did show some love unexpectedly because I didn't know what to expect at first.
Man, and at a China bar of all places. I mean, that was really unique.
Yeah. So LKF, right?
LKF is alive.
To everyone who's listening right now, LKF is like Poblacion, still a red light district in Hong Kong. Is it ish? Like, yeah.
I mean, like,
or the party district. Here you go. That's there you go.
It's the only party district in Hong Kong, and it is located in Central. and it's steady growing. It's making a vibrant comeback. There's a lot of nice, dope places.
Really? So we came in
Yeah.
at the right time then.
Definitely came at the right time. Like I said, it's time, man.
It's time.
You know, we got Ambar that's now is out here doing great things. Shout out to Simon. And, you know, Trilogy is still, you know, tweaking, you know, and pushing the envelope with stuff. And, you know, like I said, we got Nook on the 4th floor. You know, if you get, you know, you up in Frank's, you know, and you're doing your thing, you know, you pop in here, it's a whole different vibe. I mean Frack, we're shooting a podcast and I'm running my mouth. Back to you, man. Back to you.
Well, back. I'm trying to think why. How did you, like you said, you've been here for 17 years.
Yes.
And you originally came from Florida, right?
Yes, sir.
Jacksonville?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, yeah. Tampa Bay and Chicago. So if you could give us a little bit of history about Nick Cage and your past and how you end up here in Southeast Asia.
Well, a little bit of this, it sounds almost like a war story, you know what I'm saying? Because I met my bro back in Nam. But nah, like, okay, so, you know, origin story, born, you know, outside of Chicago, a city called Rock Island, you know what I'm saying? Prince, Jesse Johnson, The Time, a lot of that Memphis sound, I'm not Memphis sound, but the Minneapolis sound that was claimed come from this city outside of Chicago. And it don't matter how many times we put the city on the map, we always got to keep on saying outside of Chicago. So that's the origin story. Now, fast forward, brother gets killed, murdered, whatever, boom, I'm down in Florida, but grandma trying to, like, you know what I'm saying, forget that shit, move on my life. Now I'm in Tampa Bay. Life of a vampire here. Tampa Bay just, you know what I'm saying, turned up with the crew, ended up coming across a lot of connections, people. Next thing you know, I find myself over in Vietnam.
What? Vietnam, okay.
All like chasing the dragon of music, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I'm leaving out hella shit, like car gets flipped over at 18. I was on my way to sign a record deal in St. Louis, so that didn't happen. Linked up with some drug dealers, and I had a drug boy deal, and they was like, yo, do the graphics, is this, and then I ran out on that shit, you know what I'm saying? Had my manager scared for me, and, you know, there's all type of other shit in between there, but end up in Vietnam at some motherfucking point, and I meet the dude who I call my Chinese brothers now. And he put me on game about, like, you know, it's just popping over here with hip hop. Look around, and
Vietnam, right?
In Vietnam,
Okay.
And the gateway was through Thailand. So, you know what I'm saying? Eventually, you know, fast forward, end up, you know, selling the house after, you know what I'm saying, 2 years of him thinking I'm bullshitting. And this is why your word comes to play. This is why, like, me and you know, we've been vibing. And the word comes into play because he gave me his word. I gave him my word I was coming. He thought I was bullshitting, but 2 years later, I hit him on the phone. Why you ain't answer your email? Because you bullshit. I said, bitch, I'm in Thailand now. Now I got to get to Hong Kong.
Wait, who's that guy?
I mean, I can mention his name. He said cool about it. His name's Oliver. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, how'd you meet him again?
That's a whole nother story for a whole nother show. I mean... Like you said, you know, like I've been here for 17 years, and you see how we popped off. You know, as I said, it's time. So that's how my life's been going for like fucking 25 years of music. And, you know,
so all because of the passion that you followed, which is music, rapping.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
All because of the passion of can't.
Of what?
Of can't. Somebody said you can't do that. You can't rap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't keep time.
All right, I'm gonna show you. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So you moved. So you moved to Thailand and you stayed there for how many years?
I was bouncing around in Thailand while coming to Hong Kong for about a good solid 8 years.
Okay.
So Hong Kong I was always out here because you had to do some, like, you know, move around and figure out how to get your work visas and your permits to stay in Thailand for a long time. Thailand was cheaper than here, but it was just a matter of, like, they were popping off more with hip hop.
In Thailand.
Yeah. So I ended up eventually leaving the apartment here with my bro, dude from Nam and everything, and I relocated there more so, and then eventually I would start making more noise up here, more money up here, and then fall in love, have a kid, and bam, now I'm full-time out here. So the full-time happened about a good 14 years ago.
Okay.
So when we added all up, and then I hate, ain't no future in your front. You don't want to be like, hey, I was here 20 years, whatever. But you can't really, I don't really add up the years. I was always bouncing back and forth.
Yeah.
But the DNA of what we've done, and I say the people, because the people that helped me get out here and what I've done, it stretches over a good like 20 years in Asia, but a strong 17. You know what I'm saying? We don't watch it all.
And all those years you've been a rapper, right?
Rapper.
Yeah, you followed music. Yeah.
MC of things,
MC in the clubs, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then like what we're doing now with the podcast, we expand, we evolved. So I went from just pretty much like when I was young, I was just a rapper.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Just an MC doing my thing.
Yeah.
And then I learned I need to make money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we talking like the internet. This was like MySpace. Macklemore and me like exchanging messages. It was so easy to get to some of the greats at this time. And instead of, mining that and staying in the States, I got the fuck out the States, grabbed all my money off the street, sold the house, whatever, blah, blah, and I packed up and I went overseas and built from that angle. So, I just went on to a whole little side rant. But
No, it all makes sense. Yeah. And how, since rapping wasn't really that your main source of income, because sometimes it's not as consistent as we wanted it to be.
Yes.
And of course, I would assume you didn't do some illegal shit.
No, I mean, by far, no.
Yeah,
but
by far, no. But like, that's where you transition to
yes,
radio.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. So
that's where like I have an album called Brokenomics. It came out and it did like 5,000 units. Best Buy, Circuit City, by regional. So you're talking like the Midwest, the Southeast, Florida, and all that. So Atlanta, all those districts, and that would end up running us into like Dougie Fresh, Ludacris, and all those, and get up on some tour aspects of things. But then you start to learn like that's where you're gonna make your money on the road.
Like ticket sales.
Yeah, and Dougie Fresh taught me, he was like, the music is cool, but if you can build a presence on the show and they fall in love with you as an MC, you'll live forever.
Yeah.
And that was all it was good. I mean, and we on tour with dude, you know what I'm saying? And it's not even on tour. We kind of like muscled our way on tour for a summer, you know what I'm saying? It was like, we just gonna be here. And then eventually we got hotel rooms and shit. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it transitions into radio, it transitions into media, it transitions into like knowing the DJ. And I started putting DJs on. And in that aspect, it was like there's other artists like yourself that was out there that need to be heard. And I started putting artists on. And how I did that was just by physically being in the top clubs of Bangkok, being in the top clubs of Phuket, being at areas that the internet's now reaching. Can you imagine Strizzo's, and shout out to my boy Strizzo, Juke City, you know what I'm saying, Godfather, all that stuff. He back at Tampa, and I'm sending him videos and sending him messages. And back then, how grainy video messages might be, right? From like Maya Island, and they're playing Get Low by Strizzo. They're playing Burn My Shit. And they had this other one, I think, Fly, with him and Bubba Sparks. So I'm playing all this shit halfway across the world, and we're talking pre-TikTok.
Yeah.
So the DJs would start looking out for me. The artists started looking out for me.
So you became the plug of like new Western,
yes, sir,
hip hop music.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And then and that's how the Atlanta just starts getting thicker, because that's later on. Fast forward, now I'm heavy over here in Hong Kong, running the TJ DJ, and he already heard about me through Stro and Tom G and all these other guys out there. And he's like, oh, so you Bangkok Ant? And I was like, hi. I was like, oh yeah, that's what we call you. And we out here.
Why call you what?
They always call me Bangkok Ant, because my government name Anthony. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that right, Brett? Government name Anthony. Okay. Anyway,
Bangkok Ant. Yeah.
So and there's so many names to go on, but so then I started getting better prices for artists, and we was able to break it, and they trusted me with like, you already know, what I'm saying, with your image, with your music, to be able to go into a room and speak on your behalf. Now, is that something I could have ran around and advertised? Because then everybody else would try to do something like that. But no, this is behind the scenes, and that led to me getting more respect for my own music, getting me the gig for the big artists that come through. So now I'm doing festivals and stuff. Now it's like this dude is, you know, exciting. So I just tapped into the MC money.
Like
And-
MC in the club with the
Yes.
DJ.
Yeah, and we know back in America that shit was gone. You really not making money like that.
Yeah, but here you in
Here-
Southeast Asia, like in the east side of the world.
I'm pulling back
Yeah.
2015, 2013, like 1,000 US just to be in the club talking on the mic.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's why, you know, sometimes when a certain person might say, "Oh, that laugh, don't do that laugh, man." You know, it's like, fuck you, man. That laugh is worth $1,000 for 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that's how long have you been doing that MCing thing? And are you still doing that now?
Yeah, now, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing it and I'm expensive with it, you know. Now I'm doing like, you know, what we doing. You know, we
Yeah.
doing Return to Real Radio.
Okay, let's talk more about that. Return of the Real Radio.
Yeah, shout out to Eden HK. Eden HK is a hotel that, you know, we was hoping to get down with us and sponsor us for what we just did. And, you know, we try to do our best to, you know, always represent them cleanly. But Eden HK made way for Return to Real Radio, and that's what I do now, where I'm now able to use their resources of 50,000 viewers and listeners every time they hit live through Facebook and now the new Eden HK Radio with your music, Bag Boys music, my music, everybody's music. We're able to hit them with all this music now and expose people to like quality artists, quality events, you know.
So basically, you're still doing what you did in Thailand, but like in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And before it was just in Thailand, you're probably just like going to DJs, giving them music from, you know, from America or whatnot. And now you got a platform that you can play
Yeah.
and put a spot on those artists that you believe in.
Yeah, now we got a platform that I can reach so many more people because 50,000 is just like the max potential out of one outlet. But now when I tap into you, we tap into Strizzo, we tap into Real Extra, you know, and we just keep on hitting those people that look at me for like, yeah, he's gonna play my songs. That opens up, and this is what is important. If you support your people out there, that collaboration button and that share collaboration button on YouTube for like, you know, cooking everybody. That's why it matters, because now when we click on that these days with this technology, it goes to the highest follower, and then it goes to the next big one, and then if you're the low one on that, well, then now it's going to hit you on the last one. But now you just potentially open up yourself to maybe like 2 million people with one stroke.
Yes.
So Eden HK, the intellectual side of it, the business side of it, the sponsorship and everybody that they're connected to through Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Oakley Player, you know, I might mess that up, you know, stoner problems. But it now allows us to reach the bags. Not just a bag, but the bags. And those people are sitting around like, about time we got somebody that's want to speak what we can't say. You know, now we got something we could put our money into, because instead of putting it over here, doing Piggly Wiggly, I can put it over here, and this guy's going to do something cool, interesting, innovative. So now we got that resource versus when in Thailand, we were just like walking up, and then, again, same thing with the beginnings of Hong Kong.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And now you're also doing Hard Vision Media, right? Tell me more about that.
So Hard Vision Media is now officially 12 years old.
Okay.
Me, DJ Don Martinez, and Martinez used to be formerly Booba's tour DJ once upon a time when we came across from France, Paris. We built Hard Vision Media because we were in the beginning stages, like we all have been as artists, rocking stages, doing shows, and we always had to pay the photographer, pay the video guy. We would have to count and be at their mercy to send us our footage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So instead of being stuck like that, we started learning the industry. We started learning how to take our own pictures, how to set up the camera, do timers, and it was hard as fuck. I mean, and then living in Thailand, we was able to get the bootleg software. So now we had all the top visual bootleg software, and Don just dove into it, and I dove in more to the business, and then we built Hard Vision, and we just kicked out anybody else that hired. So now when we would get a gig, we have more money to travel further places, and that's how we would later on take over Maldives, Sri Lanka, Mauritius. I mean, he did Monaco, Morocco, and just knocking out that extra $2,000 that you would pay to be on the road and put that, man, it took us all over the world. So Hard Vision was born, and
when was that again?
about 12 years ago from today. Yeah.
Well, why France though?
Because I guess it's kind of like Hard Vision is kind of like born in Hong Kong. You know, we met, you know, and Don's from Paris, and I'm from the States, and we met in Thailand. And when we met in Thailand, you know, it was at, you know, maybe like 2 years of us. And then next thing you know, we both started taking off, and I ended up moving to Hong Kong and stuff. So, yeah. And 10 years later, we got 2 kids. He got a kid, I got a kid. And we just was, you know, celebrating, you know, last week.
So that's why you be flying back and forth to France, too?
Yeah, like lately, that's why I've been flying back and forth to France, you know, and trying to make, you know what I'm saying, a nice, you know, pipeline for all us artists. And that just happened.
Yeah.
I mean, the man is shutting it down, bro. I mean, like I told you, like we gotta get you there.
Man, I'm excited, man. Not only me, but of course other artists that you believe in. And is there any artists that you have in your radar that you possibly wanted to collaborate with in the future? Not necessarily in the Philippines, like other countries.
Man, like I mean, I want to collaborate with anybody that's dope, doing dope things. Obviously, you was definitely on the market.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
If we talk about the Philippines, everybody, because we always hanging out, man. Everybody's so fucking dope, man. And I think some of the stoner friends, we could definitely do some cool stuff. But like so that. And then if it's just like just to really put people on the radar, let them know like Baruch follows Jesus. That's my nephew. We used to do some work with him, you know, BMS gang and them guys, you know, Mac Fresco, you know what I'm saying, out there in Dallas, Texas. But yeah, I would like to say, I mean, me and you, I think if we talked about Baruch, you know.
Yeah. You sent me some videos.
Yeah, like that man's like the Drake of God rap, I call it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's just crazy. He popped in my head when you asked that question. So, you know what I'm saying? God trying to bless him right now. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
No teary eyes, man. You know what I'm saying? No teary eyes. But, yeah, let's get it, though. But, yeah, I mean.
Any future projects after now that you brought me here in Hong Kong? We did an amazing show in China Bar. Shout out China Bar. And now we out here barbecuing. And we did a secret show yesterday here at the Nook Bar. Shout out Nook Bar. And yeah, so you have any future projects going on in the next couple weeks, months?
Man,
or like any songs that you want to release? Like,
so I'm gonna definitely drop finally before the end of the year. Dip some. We dropping Medusa. Just to like hit everybody upside the head for our music. It's just the vote's gonna open. You know, I would say just tap in to the project that is now returntorealradio.com, the pullupHK.com, and then we talk about doing the pull up Philippines.
Nice. Tell me more about the pull up. The pull up is it the event itself or like?
So the pull up is the event. So the pull up is the event that is, I would say, like the voice of, you know, Return to Real Radio coming live. So, and it's to invite artists just to pull up. We're gonna, you know, we did like we did with this. We put a lot of artists in the same place. Yeah. We put their management in the same place. We provided everybody with like top grade sound, top grade film people, photography. So we just ask that you pull up. And if you want to get down with us, you just, you know, send us a message. But these are the artists and these are the people that we feel that we should be watching now that are dope. And also, if you support your community, you want this community to grow, you want, you know what I'm saying, to expand, then pull up, support. You know what I mean? It's like, because we all put money into this. You put time into it. Yeah. You know, right now the Philippines is going through some hard times. Yeah. You know, your city got hit hard.
Got hit hard with the flood and the earthquake. So
yeah. So it's like, you know, for you to take your time and come up here and to give it to the artists like I seen you did I mean, that's just amazing. And I don't
Thank you,
think,
man.
yeah, because I think I think honest too is like it's underappreciated. Like when we reach a certain level of visibility online, and then we share that with the world. It's like you just probably help. I know Bagman happy as hell after like rocking open up for you. I saw Lester Beats out there with big Chester Cheetah smile on his face, you know, and you got the whole community popping off right now.
Yeah.
And that's what the pull-up's about. You know, it should have that energy resonated.
Yeah, and
You
then
know.
that's not gonna be the last. You know what I'm saying? It's that's just the start. That's just
Yeah.
the
Who would you like to
spark.
see, you know, follow up behind this one?
From the Philippines.
From the Philippines, because right now, like that's where we've been rocking, you know.
Oh,
Philippines
man.
and Hong Kong. I mean, we ain't done building this bridge. You talking about you wanting to move?
I definitely wanted to move for sure. It kind of reminds me of the States, but cleaner.
Yeah.
Well, if you go to North Carolina, it's probably clean too. But like, let me take it back.
Denver's
New
clean.
York, but cleaner.
Yeah.
That for sure. Yeah. It's a very very, what do you call it? Like whole lot of buildings. You know what I'm saying? A whole lot of buildings. Food is amazing, and it's not as Eastern as it could get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Of course, it's like, you know, to be blunt, it's like kind of like Chinatown, of course, literally, but but you know, it's
we're not even gonna go there. Right?
yeah, but there's a whole lot of people all around the world. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
It's a true melting pot.
yeah. So yeah, I'm excited to see who you think let me think. Mike Swift for sure. Yeah, Mike Swift. Yeah, definitely. Y'all can't like, cause like if Mike Swift pulls up here soon, you guys go in the studio, you probably gonna make like 5-10 songs in like 2 hours. You know what I'm saying?
Man, yeah, the man got a hell of a catalog. I mean, we just been exchanging messages since we all was sitting down there. That was on some Goodfellas shit too, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
shout out Mike Swift. He in my city right now, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tapping in with the youngins there. Yeah, the up and comings.
See,
yeah,
and that man, yeah, we definitely got, and I think Mike would do good out here because of basketball, how he got the influence of Big Three.
Yes.
And again, like, I mean, can you ask me a question? Because, you know, people ask you, why did I bring you in and how to come here? Can I ask you a question? Why do you think more artists of your level don't get invited to Hong Kong? Or not necessarily, I mean, maybe that's like the bad, not the way to put it, like, are not pulled here more often? Because you rocked, you know what I'm saying? And Mike, we know Mike could kill it, and we know basketball is big. Like, what do you think is stopping
Hong Kong?
Yeah.
Well, it's just the market, you know. I have to like look at it at the business standpoint. Like it's like the current issue going on too with NBA and WNBA. Why basketball players in WNBA get paid way less than Because to be honest, like not a lot of people watch your games. You know what I'm saying? Like they'd rather watch intense dunking, physical, like, you know.
So to circle back on that, you just showed them intense dunking. You just gave them some, you know what I'm saying, reverse, you know what I'm saying, over the head, through the legs, slam dunk on Friday.
On Friday, yeah, I did, yeah. And then,
and then
hopefully.
Hold it. You know, we keep on forgetting because I think it was more like a bro moment with the crew because it was just the crew in here. And, you know what I'm saying, fuck you to the obnoxious guest that was out there that, man. Who? Yeah, exactly. Who? Last night. That's what I'm talking about, last night.
Oh, yeah.
But all I know is, like, once we got all that BS out the way, you know, we sat over here and it just became like this little mini cipher, and that was a moment. That was a groove right there, man.
Just go with the flow, you know what I'm saying? It's just the beauty of art, you know, art in itself. It's just hip-hop.
Yeah.
It's all love. And, yeah, going back to your question, why are an artist gets pulled here? Yeah, I mean, that's just how I think. It's just like, I am not known here yet.
Yeah.
Yet. That's the key word.
Now you are.
You know what I'm saying?
Now you are.
Well, now they get some like word of mouth, like you know what I'm saying? But hopefully, you know, I'm going to start doing something else that would really help not just me, but would help a lot of artists get shown out in the world, you know. So we'll see. I'm not gonna tell it here. I don't want to jinx it, you know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, like I got something in mind that, you know.
So cookies cooking.
Yeah, it's cooking, you know.
Cookies cooking.
Yeah. So it's in the oven right now. You know
what do you think about the artist that you saw last night? You know
yeah. Shout out J Swiss, Bagman Menace. You guys are amazing, man. Yeah. The energy, especially J Swiss. I think he just started like doing some shows, you know.
Yeah, that was his first show ever, and he was, man. It'd be some mess. We can't. I ain't gonna say anything, but yeah, that was his first
the fact
show.
that he showed up, like that's all you gotta do, just show up.
He actually had the non ad libs and backing tracks version, and then he had like the karaoke version, right? And he really was like, yo, I know how you hardcore on artists, you know, rapping they shit.
Yeah.
He said, I want to do it. He said, but then I don't want to let you guys down and do a low quality show.
Exactly.
He said, so if you allow me to do this version and I mix them up a little bit with the ones I do and don't know, you know, I think it'd be all right, cool, let's do this, man.
Yeah.
And it was the way he came about it, you know, that's how I know he's gonna be a good artist.
Yeah.
You know, he was more worried about the vibe.
And he was vibing all right, you know.
No, he killed it.
He killed it. Yeah. And of course, with your guidance, you know, and the exposure of the pull up and everything that you're doing, you know, not only Jay Swiss is gonna get that moment, you know. I'm pretty sure, hopefully, to anyone here who's listening right now who believe in themselves and who got the talent and who really will show up, can show up.
Come out wherever you are.
Exactly, you know what I'm saying? So
we making moves, right?
Yeah. So any other projects brewing for RTN?
I think we are trying just to get out this little documentary, I guess. You know, 1 year of Return of the Real Radio. I think Bagman Menace is doing the narrations in the Philippines.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay.
And it's just and this was like the final chapter, you know, how we started it, where we at, and our new thing is to try to get the studio actually open. So
there you go.
You know, right now it's just taking it in because we did a lot in like 3 or 4 days. You know, I mean, like I'm still here now. We're doing a podcast.
Yeah, and
I think we got to do another podcast, and there's a couple video shoots tonight. I think the next project is fucking sleep.
Rest. The return of the rest.
The return of the bed.
The return of the bed. Anyway, man, like again, thank you so much, Nick Cage, for everything. You know, we're so grateful, you know, for the team, for everyone who you helped put a spotlight on, and of course everything that you did in Hong Kong. And I'm excited for your upcoming projects. And to anyone who wants to give you a follow, where can they follow you?
Man, you know, just hit me direct. You know, ITS_EKORB, and you can definitely and you should follow the YouTube. All media is out there under like, you know, hashtag ITS_EKORB, which is Ekorb, which is broke backwards, Brett. Broke backwards, okay?
I wanted to ask you that, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's your show. Like, we got time.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that. Why you chose that name backwards, you know?
Okay, so, and we was talking about this, and it was supposed to be the first question or something, too.
Right? Yeah.
So, all right, the name is Ekorb. Okay, or let's just go ahead and run it down. The name is Nick Cage, Ekorb, Cash Detroit, Mr. Bank, How Dangerous, Mr. Never Call Me for the Bill. Put it in reverse, make the game work for yourself.
Yeah.
Ekorb. So, Ekorb is just that. It's broke backwards. And I wanted to be the realest I could be to myself in this game.
Broke backwards, meaning...
Yeah, when you say Ekorb, you run it back in the track. It's Ekorb, and then you play it says broke. And if you write it in the mirror and you put on a piece of paper, look in the mirror, it's gonna say, it ain't gonna say Ekorb, it's gonna say broke.
Yeah.
So now when you look and if you want to use phonic wise, and you look at my IG, it says Broke City.
Broke City.
So
I mean, what do you mean by broke with like how you
financially mentally, physically, we all get broken down to the very last compound.
And then you just reverse it.
And you reverse that shit.
Oh,
You
okay.
take that energy and you get it from the bottom of your stomach. Like I said in my song, muck up, man up, cash is knocking. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If my downfall is my loss and my fucked up, you got me fucked up. It's time to muck up, man up, cash is knocking. Kick a hole in the speaker, jump in that booth and start rocking.
Well, we know your real name. Your real name is... Anyway, my guy, thank you so much for giving us the time, the opportunity, the everything, man. We're so grateful. And to anyone who's still listening right now, if you want to follow A Life of a Bi podcast, go ahead and give us a follow on Instagram, A Life of a Bi podcast, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify. So, girls and guys, see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Howdy.